You just pulled off the perfect bank job. $2 million sitting in a bag at your feet, and you can't spend a single dollar of it. Not on a house, not on a car, not even on a nice dinner out. Because the second you try, somebody asks the one question you can't answer. Where did this money come from? And I found it in an alley isn't going to save you. This is the oldest headache in crime, and what criminals invented to solve it is so clever, so global, it almost doesn't feel real. It's called money laundering. Stick with me. Why is dirty money even dirty? Because it came from somewhere illegal. Drugs, fraud, bribery, skipping out on taxes. The government never saw a cent of it, and you really don't want them asking questions now. Here's the problem. Money leaves footprints. Every deposit, every wire transfer, every purchase. It's a trail. That's the entire game, and it happens in 3 stages. Let's break them down. Stage 1 is placement. This is the scary part, because you're sitting on physical cash, and it has to enter the financial system somehow. Walk into a bank with $800,000 stuffed in a bag, and you're not getting a teller. You're getting a very uncomfortable conversation with federal agents. So people get inventive. There's a technique called structuring, sometimes nicknamed smurfing. Break one giant pile of cash into dozens of tiny deposits, each one just under the $10,000 mark that triggers a bank report. 9,000 here, 8,000 there. Different banks, different days. Some operations even pay people just to shuttle cash around all day long. Not exactly the glamorous criminal lifestyle you'd imagine. Other times, they buy a cash-heavy business instead, a restaurant, a car wash, somewhere nobody can verify how many customers actually walked in. Blend the dirty cash with real earnings, and it just becomes revenue. Stage 2 is layering, and this is where it turns into an art form. The goal now is to move the money so many times through so many accounts across so many countries that anyone trying to trace it eventually just gives up. Send it from a bank in one country to a shell company in another. That company loans it to a second shell company, which invests it somewhere else entirely. After 5 or 6 hops, even seasoned financial investigators lose the thread completely. And that's the point. Shell companies make this frighteningly easy. A shell company exists only on paper. No employees, no office, no product. Just a name and a bank account. You can create one in the United States, in a state like Delaware, for a few $100s, and your real name never has to appear anywhere. So investigators trace the money, and they find a company owned by another company, owned by a trust, managed by a lawyer who's legally forbidden from saying a word. And just like that, the trail goes cold. Stage 3 is integration. The finish line. The money comes back to you clean, spendable, with no questions attached. Buy a luxury property through a shell company. Wait a year. Sell it. Now it's just profit from a real estate deal. Or buy fine art instead. A painting sells for $50 million, and nobody asks where the buyer's money came from. The art world has a long history of looking the other way. Here's the number that should genuinely stop you. The United Nations estimates that up to $2 trillion gets laundered around the world every single year. That's roughly 2% of the entire global economy.